I think his mouthpiece game, if it was good enough, he probably made it to where she thought it was her idea for them to escape. Like kept hitting her with the, man, I just wish we could spend more time together. It sure would be nice to, I don't know why the hell they wanted to go to Indiana, but man, wouldn't it be nice to go to Indiana? Man.
Maybe there's more whites in Indiana. Yeah. Like, maybe they got family there.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Where's he from? Where's she from?
Yeah.
I can help you escape. Oh, no, I wouldn't want you to do that.
No, I wouldn't ask you to do that. I mean, that's how I know you love me. I wouldn't want you. I mean, what would that even look like? That would mean like you would pull out $95,000 worth of 401k. What up? It's Three Brothers No Sense. I am Tavares Ferguson, a.k.a. Ferg, joined with my co-host, Rozzy and Buff. Fellas, tell them what's on your mind.
Kendrick Lamar. That's it. That's the comment right there.
Drop the mic.
Let me first say, I'm not even the biggest Kendrick Lamar fan. Like, I don't think I know not one of his songs like by memory that I could recite. But I've always recognized that he can spit. He's a definite top lyricist. But I like his music, but it's nothing that I just have to. Like, I'm at the point in my life now, I really just use music for the gym and when I'm riding in my car. And he doesn't really make a lot of music that, like, I be wanting to hear about dope selling and trapping when I'm riding in my car. And he don't really talk about
toxic.
that.
He will toxic stuff.
he don't ride in box Chevys on 22s. But I've always known that he's dope. And just listening to this album on the first listen, just going through all the songs, I mean, to hear a rapper talk about subjects that you really never hear artists talk about. He has a song called Auntie Diaries, where he's talking about how his uncle is now his auntie, or maybe it's the other way around. His auntie is now uncle. But either way, he goes through everything and what that comes with. He has a song called Mother I Sob, where it's talking about, how most families always have that one uncle or one cousin that inappropriately touches kids in the family. And his mom asking him, did they touch you? And stuff like that. I mean, it's just remarkable the topics that he touched on, man, while making it entertaining and just continuing to spit the lyrics that he does. So dope album, and that's coming from someone that's not even like the number one Kendrick Lamar fan. So check that out. And it gave people something to talk about other than Kevin Samuels, because Lord knows we ran that subject in the ground.
I was trying to see how long we can go without mentioning them. So that was 2 minutes and 32 seconds recording. So I would say a good 2 minutes into the show.
Yeah, probably. So Buff, you say you like trapping and all of that. So I'm guessing you like Thugger and Young Thug, and that YSL crew that got them RICO charges. So you heard about that?
Yo, what's fascinating about that is the video I shared in our group chat, where it's Gilly and I think Wallow, who's like literally telling them to cut that out. Like, if you're gonna rap. If you're going to be in the streets, but don't try to do both. They ain't listen.
Right.
And here we are.
Yeah. Or, just wild thought, don't rap about being in the streets. There's also that. Don't tell on yourself.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
Bro, you're giving them too many options.
Right.
Just tell them what to do.
Right.
You're a rapper, you in the streets.
I did like that one Young Thug song. I don't know what he was saying. That lifestyle. I still don't know what he's saying, but that was a dope song.
I don't think he knows what he was saying.
Buff is weak. He had to put himself on mute.
What'd he say, Buff?
In the middle of the cannon.
That's exactly what he said. Oh God. Razi, what you got for us?
Couple things, man. I just want to say I told you so about Elon Musk. He has his purchase of Twitter is on hold based on his tweet that he put out there. So, I saw that coming a mile away. I don't think he's going to follow through on that. It's going to be something, but he likes to make crazy, wild claims and move the market. And I think what happened is when he saw that the stocks went down both times, like Tesla stock and Twitter stock went down when he announced it. So obviously he was like, yeah, this isn't like the thing that's going to make the markets move. So that's my thing about it. Also, there's a couple of cryptos out there that launched in, I think, Buff, you put that post, right? It's like if you put $10,000 into one of the cryptos, 3 days later, you'd have $3.92. So yeah, it's man, I've said that from the start. A lot of these, the Bitcoin is really doing a good job of trying to stabilize its coin, but that's really the only one. Everything else is speculation. Everything else is playing Russian roulette, going to Vegas, and you need to treat it like that. If you do want to play in that and dabble in that, that's a speculative investment, and you should be investing no more than 10% if you get up to that much of your investments. Don't be putting your whole life savings in there. Don't be like, yeah, crypto gonna make me rich, that type of thing. I mean, that's play money, and you got to be willing to lose it if you're gonna go into it. I say stay away from it.
So got it.
Do something.
Got it. Invest in Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. But Bitcoin. If you're going to go into a coin, that's going to be the most stable one. I'm not telling you to invest in that either, but what I'm saying is,
I mean, you said invest in Bitcoin.
Wait till they stabilize. So, man,
you said invest in Bitcoin.
Don't put that in my mouth. I would not be responsible for anybody trying to mess up their life investing in Bitcoin. So, what I will tell you to invest as soon as they go public, huh?
So don't invest in Bitcoin.
Don't invest in Bitcoin. Yeah, don't invest in coins at all. Dogecoin, whatever it's called, Elon coin, Musk coin, whatever they come out with.
I know you about to move to something else.
Yeah, that new NFT that is gonna change the boxing game because old boy had herpes twice last week. Did y'all see that video?
yeah, that was wild.
Don't invest in none of that stuff, man. NFTs are the same thing, man. It's. Let's see if, I can buy it or sell it to a sucker and then that person hold it until the next bigger sucker comes. That's really all that is.
It's a scheme.
It's a scheme. The technology behind it makes sense, right? If you need something that actually is a one of a kind and you want to track ownership of it, the NFT makes sense. It needs to go with something that is, hey, it's an NFT. I think who is it? StockX is starting to do NFT for their Jordans. So if you want dead stock and where you really don't want to buy and wear the Jordans, they'll send you an NFT to say you own it, but they'll keep it in their warehouse and they won't ship it. It saves shipping costs. So that NFT says that you own this pair of Jordans and it's tied to something that's physical. That makes sense from an NFT standpoint. So to prove ownership, NFTs are perfect for that. But anything else, man, people just go and spend $3 on or 3 hours on Photoshop and be like, oh, I created this NFT. And all of a sudden, people want to spend $10,000 on it. You're getting hosed. Don't do it. Don't do it. That's all I got to say, man. I know I talked a lot, but I really did want to talk about. Go ahead.
Just play the lotto.
Just play the lotto. Yeah, if you're going to do it, just play the lotto. Yeah, just do that. But what I wanted to talk about, I got sidetracked on my soapbox. But Naomi Osaka launching her, she left her agency and she launched her own agency. You guys know she's the highest paid female athlete ever in history, over Serena and everybody. She's making more money than Serena did when she was playing. And she's leaving to go get her or create her own agency, sports agency. And Kyrie Irving actually tweeted at her, and he may be moving over to her agency as well. So I just want to say, folks, if you got a dream, man, go for it. Don't let anybody just be like, oh, you know, the naysayers and stuff like that. Go for your dream, man. She did it, and I think I really feel like her agency is going to do well. So that's all I got, man.
Well, I appreciate your updates, Rozzy. So there's not a lot coming from me. It's just always amazing how much people still find a way to hate, especially there's things that I just don't waste my time hating on. Kids is one of them, and imaginary and fantasy is another one. But there are people who are mad with the casting for, are you guys familiar with Percy Jackson, those series? It's kind of like a Harry Potter type world, but more so into mythology. So they have a new casting. They casted a young lady named Leah Jeffries for a role for Annabeth Chase, or as Annabeth Chase in the upcoming Percy Jackson movie. And the haters are hating. They cannot believe, once again, that they would cast somebody that does not look like the real person. Now, granted, Percy Jackson is a made-up story. These are kids' stories, but you have adults coming at this young lady. They deleted her TikTok account. Like they just went ham. She spoke out. She had another video she posted. She represented herself really, really well. But my hat's off to the author of the book, Rick Riordan. He addressed criticism of the haters, and basically is like, it's a book. Get over it. These are kids, and if you don't like it, just don't watch it. Like it's just that serious, simple. Like if you don't agree, just don't watch it. And it's just still amazing to me how much free time people have. Like that means you have to log into some kind of app, website, make a post, formulate a thought to say, I do not like the fact that you made this imaginary character something different. And I know it's not a big deal for some people, but it's just still amazing to me how adults go out of their way to hate on something so silly. So we got all the other stuff going on in the world, and we're still here. I don't even say I adult well, but I don't have that type of time to make those type things happen, to waste my energy on something like that. And it's just, that's what amazes me. It's like, how do you get there?
A lot of times trolls, that is their pastime. The same way, you know, you like, oh, I'm gonna go hang with the bros, I'm gonna do the lamplighters, I'm gonna do this. Trolls troll. That's what they do. They get on the internet, and you know, the hours or 2 hours you use giving back to the community, they use taking away from people's self-esteem. I mean, it's a pastime for them. Yeah.
Is it? Okay. I didn't know.
I hate it.
I apologize, trolls. I didn't know that was a thing. I don't want to be canceled by the trolls. You know? So on to more important things. Where's Sophie?
She's downstairs. Hold on. She said she had one ready for you. Hold on. I'll be back.
Hello.
You gonna flex on us with the afro?
Huh?
You gonna flex on us with the hair?
I dropped it.
She keep dropping her earpiece.
Her hair's getting in the way.
Okay, I'm ready.
Alrighty. If you have a good joke, I might have a bad joke for you.
Really?
Yeah.
My glasses got stuck to his hair. Where do bad rainbows go?
I got nothing, Sophie.
Prism. It's a light sentence.
She's back. Yeah.
She's back. Hold on, Sophie. I got one for you. I like that one.
Okay.
What do you call bees that produce milk?
I don't know what.
Boobies.
Boobies.
I don't like it.
Your dad knew that one. How can he hear that one?
Yeah.
I was close enough to the headphones I could hear.
That was in one of my doctor's offices, and one of my nurses told me. I'm like, you know what? She thought enough to tell it. I'll tell it on the show. All right. Oh, so is it on me this week?
So what?
Is it on me first?
Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's do this. So with social media getting a lot of play, and there's always something to talk about, and there's always some great debate, something for us to argue about. I'm starting to see people take some of these debates way too seriously. And it makes me think about real life, because social media is fake. And my question is, we're always talking about who's on our side, who are you helping, who are you protecting? It's, can allies still disagree with you and be an ally?
You want the real answer, or you want the what?
I mean,
what
that's just,
I'll be brief.
The way it is.
I'll be brief.
The way it is, because that's the problem. And I think about the relationships. You're thinking about marriage, friends, support groups, other people. Can we still really be? How easily is that to just become severed?
We should be able to, but in this climate, I haven't seen it. You have to 100% agree with allies, or they don't consider you an ally. It's kind of what I've heard Bill Maher talk about this. Dave Chappelle talked about it in one of his stand-ups. Everybody has become so grounded in their position that there's no room for any nuance or any varying opinions. It's like, if you don't fully agree with me, then you're not on my side.
Yeah, it's it's the whole Twitter thing. Like, I have to be able to get my stance out in a certain amount of characters, and that's my stance. And if you don't agree with it, like Byron said, there's no nuance to it. There's no we talked about Kevin Samuels and how, yes, he's a bad person. Yes, he delivers the message wrong. And yes, he has colorful words that he uses, but the underlying intent of what he's trying to get off isn't new, right? What he's trying to impart isn't new. And I think that's kind of the thing. People are so ingrained in what they want to hear that they're not listening for that nuance. They're not listening to those allies. And I get it. I always use the phrase, only the affected party can tell you how they're affected. I get it. That's one thing, but there can be nuance. You can disagree on certain things and still be an ally. It's just, they have to understand that we still have opinions about things. Just because it didn't affect us doesn't mean you don't have opinion about it. And as an ally, you get to decide what you're going to really defend and what you're going to, how far you're going to let somebody else go before you stop them, right? Like, it's I can't come to your defense as an ally every time. And I don't think you want that. I don't think anybody wants that, where it's like, then it becomes mansplaining. Then it becomes, you're not letting me speak or whatever. So you have to gauge when you're going to step in and when you aren't. And so I think for everybody that's wanting allies, you have to understand that the allies aren't going to agree with you 100%. They aren't going to, everything that you say is the way. Hell, the affected parties usually can't get on one accord and actually all agree on what's the right thing. And, there's folks with the N-word and, we shouldn't say it at all, and or only black people could say it, or white people that are cool can say it. Like there's a spectrum even in that, and so we can't get aligned as an affected party on what needs to happen or what's the line or where we're drawing the line. So as an ally, we definitely don't know exactly where the line is, and so we have to draw the line where we think it should be at. And you just gotta understand that there's allies out there that are drawing the line where they think it is, and accept that partnership where they are. I mean, they're not going to 100% align to you. So I know I talked a lot about it, but
So I'm gonna have another part of the question, but so I guess it goes to what's an ally? You said Kevin Samuels. Maybe he's not an ally. We don't know his true intention. We can assume that he was out there wanting to help black men and women, and part of me does, but that's not for me. And I don't know if he ever went on his show or took a lie detector test and said, this is my true intent. So I can't say it. Maybe he was a shock jock. Maybe he wanted the conflict. Who knows? I can honestly care less, right? But it's when somebody that you associate with, that or feel does and will have your best interests at heart, that is your true ally. But the question is, what is an ally? So an ally, a person, group, or nation that is associated with another or others for some common cause or purpose. That's all it is. If our common cause is to see, and we'll stick with Kevin Samuels or black people, is to see progress within the black community for black men and black women. My purpose, let's just stick with black women because that's been the topic. I consider myself, and I want to be an ally for black women, but I don't have to agree with everything. As a matter of, like you said, there's not agreement in the affected group. So if I agree with one person in that affected group who takes this stance, but the another person in that affected group takes another stance, where am I? Am I ally to some black women and not others? Or am I kind of, am I Sweden? I don't know what or Switzerland, excuse me. What am I? Is it better just to stay out of it? When you don't take a stance, then there's a potential, you didn't come to my rescue. You saw me get punched in the face. You didn't say anything.
Mm-hmm. So silence is complicity.
Yeah. So what are the dangers of allies not knowing how to, I guess, work out, or not even work out? Sometimes you can't work. So everything can't necessarily be worked out. It's accepting those differences and remaining allies. So, because I feel like right now, the social community we're like approaching World War III. Like it's always one statement, one post away from nuclear, detonation. We could lose all our listeners from this show. One of us could get canceled, lose our jobs from a show that or something you made, and your intent was pure and trying and helpful, but because somebody didn't agree with it, So what are the dangers?
I think we're seeing that now. I've seen on a lot of posts, like you mentioned Kevin Samuels and the black community. I've seen where women have called him out, and then men try to say, well, that's not what he meant. This is what he meant. And they start arguing with one another. So we can't even fight the battles together as a group of people because we're so busy fighting one another over not agreeing fully with each other. And so there's so much infighting that it almost feels like we can't make any grounds with the progress we really need because we're too busy fighting with one another. And I saw it a lot this past week. I just call it the Civil War, the battle of the sexes, where a woman points out, men, why are you silent on this? And then a man says, why? And all of a sudden he's a coward, he's not a real man, and things like that. And now they're just arguing. So we really need to focus on the bigger picture. But like I say, this past week, man, I just saw a lot of us just bickering with one another back and forth over who's hurt who the most. A lot of these statements are coming from black men, and y'all supposed to protect us. And black men saying, well, you guys have said this about us for years. So nothing is getting solved because we're too busy arguing with one another.
Rise, I'm going to challenge you to answer that, and let's not reference Kevin Samuels, because I don't want him to be, I don't want to be pigeonholed with this argument. It's so many things. It's relationships. It's any of that stuff. What
what
are the dangers of allies not being able to learn how to work together, or accept the differences?
Yeah, I think it's like Buff said, or like any party, you die on the vine when allies can't come to your aid and be there for you if they don't toe your line, right? You have to build a coalition. The only people that I know that have been able to say, if you don't agree with us, you're out, are the evangelicals, right? We saw it, right? Roe v. Wade is getting overturned, and that's what they hang their hat on, pro-life and all of that. And so they're like, if you don't agree with this, then you're out, and we don't support you. Other than that, man, everybody else has to build a coalition. You have to have allies that somewhat agree with you on this and maybe disagree with you on that. But, ultimately we're moving towards the same direction. And I think that's happening. I do think that's happening. Buff, you mentioned the folks in the Civil War. I think those are outliers. I really don't think that's normal behavior, right? Social media has gotten us to the point where we feel like that's normal because you see 4 people arguing back and forth, and maybe on another post you see 2 other people arguing back and forth. But ultimately, you might have 3,000 friends and you only see 6 of them arguing or 10 of them arguing. There's other 2,990 that don't do that, right?
But are they aligned or are they silent? Silent is complicity, because you don't want to be part of that. I might agree with whatever you're saying, but I see that smoke you have. I don't got time for that. You chose violence. I chose peace, right? I mean, that's the new saying. You chose violence.
Right. I think what happens, though, is that, like you said, we don't advance and we don't move the ball forward. We don't actually do anything because, like you said, people are like, look, I don't want to take a stance because if I don't 100% agree with you, I'm going to get, as soon as I say something wrong, I'm going to get ostracized. I might get canceled or whatever. So like you say, I'm just going to stay out of it because it's not a fight that affects me so deeply that I'm vested in it to have a argument, right? I'm not marching in the streets for it or whatever. That doesn't mean I can't defend you on it, but I don't necessarily have to go that far. So there's levels to being an ally. There's levels to support. Yeah. And a lot of people are choosing that tacit support, that I got your back. If it comes for a vote or something, I'm going to vote that way or whatever, but I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. I'm not going to march in the street with you. I'm not going to do this with you. So I think what's happening is the affected parties have to get smarter about creating that big tent, letting people in, and having that vision of we're going forward, even with the people who generally agree with us, but maybe not all the way. They have to open that up. But until that happens, it's just we're gonna spin in a cycle of just argue about it, not have a platform, not move forward. All the while, the hardline conservatives or the hardliners are making moves, right? I mean, we can talk all day long about politics, right? You say don't want to mention Kevin Samuels. Politics, we can talk about that. Politics, the Democrats are trying to build this coalition and they're trying to get the allies in and all of that. All the while, the Republicans are out there. They're hardlining. They're making moves. They're getting Supreme Court nominees. They're gerrymandering. They are changing laws to make people not be able to vote. They out there doing stuff while we're sitting here like, oh, let's try to help everybody, and they don't care.
And I mean, that's a perfect example because the definition of the ally is people with a common purpose. It doesn't matter how we get there. And we get so caught up in the argument, winning this one argument with this, and kick the can down the road about the purpose. It's, I want to see, I forgot the political stance I was taking. Let's just say a progress for the black community, whatever. It's, you might not agree on reparations, but you think police reform and education reform is big. And I'm arguing with you about how do you not believe in reparations and this, and this. And it's like, yeah, but I'm about to vote with you on this police reform and this education. But no, reparations, we built this country, yada, yada, yada. It's like,
almost like a poison pill in Congress.
Yeah, I got you. But I'm about to. And we're doing that so much. And I just want us to take, and I say that because I want us all to take a step back and realize, who are your true allies? Only you can decide that. And just realize that you're not gonna agree with everybody. We're all married, have been married. I don't agree with my wife on everything. Never have, never will. But I know our common purpose and our common goal. And so it's not about how we get there all the time. It's like, let's get there. Let's get there, you know? And that, I mean, I just want that conversation start floating because we're not having it. I think before we talk about another purpose, we need to talk about what it is to be an ally and what positive alignment looks like. You know, we can't get there if you think the only way I'm aligned with you is if I agree with you 100%. None of us will ever get there.
And slightly off topic, I want to offer a little pushback because I know you said social media is fake and Rozzy kind of dismissed it. I actually think the opposite. Social media is I think it's more real than real life. There's a book called Everybody Lies, to where people respond to polls and say things in real life, but what they really mean, you can use their Google searches, you can use what they say on Facebook when they create these, fake names or whatever like that and say what they really want to say. Social media gives people the platform and the expression to express their true feelings. And that's why polls in 2016 was so way off, because people were afraid to admit that they were going to vote for Trump during these phone calls. But little did we know, they were all for it. So I want to caution you guys, don't dismiss social media as being so fake. Yes, people are fake in the type of lifestyle they live. But when it comes to expressing opinions and things like that, it's more real than real life. Because we got coworkers that are maybe one way at work, but if you look at some of their Google searches or their searches and some of their social media comments, you'll get the real them.
Yeah. Just who they follow on social media tell you so much about them, right? Not even, it does. That's true.
All right, those were good points. Who's up next?
It's a toss-up between me and Rozzy. Whoever want to go.
Yeah, I don't mind. I want to talk about the whites. So,
man, I wish they could have saw the face.
Can we not use the whites?
You can't say that, Rozzy.
I can and I will, because I'm actually talking about Vicky and Casey White. I don't know if you guys have heard about that story. So down here in good old Alabama.
That is the funniest thing you might have said on this show. That single-handedly might be the funniest thing you've said on this show.
Well done, sir.
Kudos.
Yeah, I had to throw it.
It only took them 133 episodes.
So, but yeah, down here in good old Birmingham, Alabama, we had a fugitive escape. His name was Casey White, and there was a female PO named or CO named Vicky White that helped him escape.
No relation.
So at first they thought he had taken her hostage and got away, but then they started investigating. Vicky White pulled out $95,000, her entire retirement, got it in cash, helped him escape, and they got like 2.5 hours away, and they got caught. She ended up shooting herself. She killed herself when they were coming in to reclaim him and capture him. He's back in prison now because of the jailbreak. But I want to talk about the strongest pimp hand or mouthpiece ever to talk a CO into helping you escape and escaping with you type thing. We saw it on like Orange is the New Black. I mean, it happens on TV, but in real life that's happened. And I just want to ask you guys, like, how strong of a mouthpiece does this dude have to talk that CO into it? Like, do you guys think that's like normal to be able to like, how can somebody talk a CO into helping them escape like that?
Well,
I guess is
well, not based on firsthand experience, obviously, but in talking to people who have served time, it is quite common for female COs to have sex with the male inmates. Now, as far as helping them escape, that's probably fairly rare, but if you take that into account, that it happens a lot that they have sex with one another, and then you add in that CO, I don't know, feeling lonely, searching for love, thinking they found love in this person. Hey, we talked about it before. Love, loneliness, that'll make you do some great. That'll make you ready to risk it all, and that's what Miss Vicky did. She risked it all, and I don't know her situation. I don't know if she was. I can assume she was lonely and didn't feel loved, and felt like she found it in this gentleman, and so I can see it. I'm actually probably surprised it doesn't happen more.
He dropped that off.
Hey, that's what Erica Perkins said. She was like, he was 6 feet tall, and she saw him in some gray sweatpants and lost her mind.
he dropped that D off, and mouthpiece and some D, I guess.
I think that's the name of the episode.
Come on, dog. I was in the middle of drinking my water, man.
I'm just saying, dog. Like, I mean, she pulled out $95,000, her retirement. Why? You made it 2.5 hours.
They were in Indiana, right?
Yeah.
And you killed yourself. Like, I don't know. I don't even know if it's, and I'm okay, let's take it seriously. Somebody lost their life. So let me back up. I don't think it was just his mouthpiece or whatever. I think there's a possibility that there's probably going to be some, like, I feel like she had to be mentally weak, mentally disturbed, just to, like, that is not anybody with I would say a healthy functioning mind will not take those risks. And he probably saw and preyed on her weakness. I don't think, that mouthpiece, if you put 10 female COs, because I feel like, yeah, they might be getting moved or whatever, but they're, like you said, it doesn't happen all the time. So he found the one who was weak. I can almost guarantee she's not the only female CEO getting beat down at that prison. Byron in the background. It's something about that. So I think he recognized her potential mental weakness and used that to his advantage, because they had to come up with a full plan. Because there wasn't no Romeo and Juliet stuff. He back in prison. He got a little vacation, got some more cut. I wonder how much of that $95,000 they spent. Had a weekend, a week out on the town. He back in jail. Is he getting additional sentence, or he was serving life, right?
Yeah, he was already serving life.
He had nothing to lose.
He gets additional two life sentences. So Yeah.
What's the second? What's 2 more life sentences? I mean,
yeah, bro. I think it's almost like for her. I agree with what you're saying. I wanted to take it a step further with women who ignore red flags to be with these guys, right? These guys that, like you said, you're in jail to risk it all for a person. That's a red flag. Anybody's like, help me escape is a huge red flag.
Time out.
But
Time out. He's in prison with life sentence. Red flag. That's red flag number 1. You can't get much bigger than that. That's red flag number 1. You know, I'm going to go out on a limb and assume her mother didn't give her the talk about dudes with life sentences in prison. But I don't think that you have to get that talk, you know? So red flag number 1. Continue.
And then he says, hey, help me escape. Red flag number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And she still does it. And then when they escape and it becomes national news, he's like, hey, let's keep trying to escape. Instead of, you know, babe, I love you. Tell them that, you know, you got away from me. I forced you to do it or whatever. And all of that. I threatened your life, yada, yada, yada. No, he's like, let's continue on down this path of national media attention, a nationwide manhunt, and I want you to be by my side. Another red flag, and she keeps rocking with it. Like, it's wild. But to ladies that are out there ignoring these red flags, what do you say to them? Like, other than don't?
Let's be fair. Let's not put this on ladies. There are people who ignore red flags. There are people who make unwise decisions.
Can that be arrogant sometimes?
I do believe that arrogance to the point where, like, I'm the exception to the rule. I won't get caught. This is gonna work out for me.
I'm just saying red flag. When people ignore red flags in general, is it like, I see these red flags, but I can change it?
Yeah, the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
Like, it won't happen to me. I'm different.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, the reason I think there had to be something deeper there, because what is the best case scenario in that situation?
I think
you escape and do what?
I think his mouthpiece game, if it was good enough, he probably made it to where she thought it was her idea for them to escape. You know, like kept hitting her with the, man, I just wish we could spend more time together. It sure would be nice to, I don't know why the hell they wanted to go to Indiana, but man, wouldn't it be nice to go to Indiana? Man.
Maybe there's more whites in Indiana. Yeah. Like, you know, maybe they got family there.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. You know,
where's he from? Where's she from?
Yeah.
You know, I can help you escape. Oh no, I wouldn't want you to do that.
No, I wouldn't ask you to do that. I mean, that's how I know you love me. You know, I wouldn't want you. I mean, what would that even look like? That would mean like you would go pull out $95,000 worth for 401k.
You know?
Man. Alrighty.
It's good stuff about the whites.
Yes.
Okay, so Insecure ended a few months ago on HBO, starring Issa Rae, and a lot of people were applauding her. But a lot of people began criticizing her. For those of you that don't know, Issa Rae, her parents, like her father was a pediatrician and her mom was a teacher. So she grew up pretty well. She had both parents that were working, had good jobs. She went to Stanford, and people were saying, well, I can't really celebrate her because she didn't struggle. Like she had the easy lane to her success. And my question for you guys is, can you celebrate, like, what is it about people that makes them not want to celebrate someone unless they struggle. Like Ferg talks about how Black women are only in struggle love type movies because obviously Hollywood thinks that's what we want to see. But it seems like this is one of those things that Hollywood may be keen on, is like, hey, you guys love struggle. So why is it so hard for people to celebrate success unless it comes from, you know, my dad left me when I was 3. My mom was on drugs at first. Then she got out. We moved from house to house. I came out the projects. And now look at me. I'm a success. Versus, yeah, my parents worked. You know, we ate dinner at the table. We had money. I went to Stanford. And I'm a success. And people look at it as like, it was easy for you. Why do we do that?
I think it's because it's a couple of things. I think, first of all, because a lot of us can't relate to it. For whatever reason, we can't relate to it. I think, secondly, there is this unspoken badge of honor that comes with struggle. That is, for lack of better words, and I hate it, I'm probably going to get pushback, that's the story of our people. Every Black story starts with a struggle. You know, that's our history here, you know? And I hate that. And that's all we know. It's just so foreign to us that it's not only we can't relate to it, it just seems so wrong or unnatural, right? And then I think finally it makes it easier for a lot of people to make excuses on why they haven't had as much success. Well, if I had a 2-parent household and my dad was a pediatrician and my mom was a teacher and I went to Stanford, I would be Issa Rae too. I know, buddy. I know. And so it's that familiarity that familiarity that we accept, that, you know, we can all agree to the same narrative. It goes back to that narrative that we were talking about a few weeks ago. You know, I create this fantasy world. I create these things to protect my mind and why I'm at where I'm at. Of course, Issa Rae is supposed to be Issa Rae. Did you not hear her stats? Her dad was a doctor, people. Duh.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that what's the saying? Everybody loves an underdog, right? It's like you're saying, you struggled, you came from nothing, you moved from house to house, single parent home, and now you made it. That's a better story. That's a better narrative to tell. It's more interesting. You know, Alabama wins a national championship, nobody bats an eye. But if UAB came out of nowhere and was like, oh my God, they won the national championship, then okay, it's a big deal. People are going to celebrate it. I think that it's a little bit of that. There are people who love Issa Rae and they're going to support her because she made it, even if the odds were kind of in her favor already and she had a little leg up and a little privilege starting out. But, you know, there are plenty of people who had that same situation that went to Stanford and they aren't Issa Rae. They didn't make it. So, you know, there's some Auburns of the world. Let me stop messing with you, Ferg. So I think it comes down to people are just gonna hate. They like to hate, and so any little thing that they can do to kind of invalidate what you've done and your accomplishments, they're gonna find it to do it. So I ignore it and keep rocking forward with it. But I think people, the masses, celebrate Issa, right? It's just it's those haters. It's that small group that is gonna be like, oh well, you know, like Ferg said, if I had that, I could have done it too. Or it's not that big of a deal because she had that head start. I mean, the plenty of people that had those head starts that didn't make it. There were white folks that had even more of a head start that didn't make it. So let's not act like what she accomplished isn't a big deal, even though she had a little bit of a head start.
Yeah, and she didn't walk out of Stanford into an HBO show. You know, like she still had to put in the work. But Ferg pretty much took my answer. Everything he said, plus, and I think he kind of touched on this, but plus a tinge of jealousy comes with that. And it's kind of like what you said, Rozzy, like, well, if I had that, I would have made it too. So I'm not going to give her props because she did have that. So whoop-de-doo that she made it. But making it in that type of industry is tough. No matter, I mean, well, I would say even if you were Denzel Washington's son, but Denzel Washington's son is in Hollywood, so maybe it's not a good example. But yeah, man, she put in the work. She had her YouTube show, and you know, we know how hard it is. It's difficult to get people to pay attention to you and get followers and subscribe and build a big enough platform to where it morphed into a TV show, a hit TV show, some would say, on HBO. So I give her props. I guess I asked this question because I was just a little surprised. Like I was so used to everyone celebrating Issa. And so when I saw these comments, I was like I didn't even know that about her. I didn't care to know. Like, it doesn't matter what her upbringing was. The fact that she made it and she made Black people look good on TV, I thought it was good. She put a lot of Black people in business as far as on the show, behind the scenes, and everything like that, directing everything. So I was just happy about that. So just want to get y'all takes on that, man.
Yeah, and along those same lines, they love to pit the successful Black people against each other, right? It's Issa versus Shonda Rhimes and you know, that type of thing. It's like, oh, well, she's not Shonda or whatever. And that's one thing I really, really liked about Megan Thee Stallion when she came on, and Cardi B, because they tried to start pitting them together, and Cardi B and Megan were like, nope, we're not doing that. Let's go make a song together. They're not going to do that to us. And so shout out to them for kind of breaking that narrative of there can only be one successful female artist or only one successful Black producer or whatever. They're like, no, we both can coexist and we can still drop albums and sell records. So I'm glad they did that. They broke that because Nicki was there and Nicki was like, nope, I'm killing everybody who comes in the game. I ain't letting nobody take my spot. And so they broke that cycle. So shout out to you guys.
Nicki gonna come for you for that.
It's true. And again, Nicki, if you want to come for us and mention Three Brothers No Sense on your platform,
she gonna come for you. I don't want to be for Nicki
and the Barbs.
Yeah, I won't be for the Barbs. I'm trying to remember this movie. I was watching something that just reminded me when you asked that question, Byron. I don't know, it was Anchorman or something like that. It was like, I worked my way up. My family only left me with $300 million, and I worked my whole life to take that $300 million and make it $305 million, and that's why I'm standing here today. It's like, oh man, I can't remember what movie that was. Yeah, but we don't want to be for the Barbs.
Rozzy does. We don't.
Rozzy, because he's obviously Nicki. I mean, he's Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B fan.
Nicki, I think you should come on the show and tell Rozzy about himself. Or we'll come on Queen Radio. How about that? Either one.
Yeah.
And I definitely am both of their fans. I like Megan and Cardi, especially Megan. She's an anime nerd. I love that about her. Like, personally, I really like Megan Thee Stallion.
Tell them how you feel, Rozzy.
Are you shooting your shot?
That's Megan Thee Stallion, yeah. And you know, she was dating Tory Lanez, so obviously she good with short niggas. Yeah. Shoot. Yeah. I won't shoot you in the foot, Megan.
Allegedly.
That boy, wow.
Oh, allegedly.
That boy is wow.
Who, Tory or Rozzy?
Rozzy.
You called me on a Friday afternoon.
Oh, man. All right, fellas, go ahead and close it on out.
I'll just go with, I'm sorry, Rozzy. I'll just go with folks, don't forget to vote for the Nappy Awards. That's still going on. Even I have forgotten a day, but that's why we have so many reminders on social media. Vote nappies.com. Vote nappies.com. Click on media and then scroll all the way down to best local podcast. Vote Three Brothers No Sense. Keep in mind, we had Eugene Goodman and Harry Dunn. No other media outlet has that. None. We're the only one. That is worth a Nappy Award right there. So make sure you vote every day until May 29th. Subscribe to Three Brothers No Sense on any podcast platform. And also vote for Inspire You on the Nappies. They are up for Best Media Marketing. So they are our teammate in this, and you can catch us every Monday night, 10 p.m. Central Time on Inspire You on Air. So make sure you're voting for them as well.
Yep. And don't forget, if you guys want to leave us voice messages or want to check out what we got plenty of merch. Go to threebrothersnosense.com. Check us out. There's a donate button up there. You can always donate, give us some money so we can continue to bring you this awesome content, because it's not cheap and it's not free to actually produce all of this. And so, please donate, buy some merch, all of that. We really don't make a whole lot of money off the merch, but it does help get the name out, get the brand out, and expand our footprint. And so that's what all we're trying to do. Like we said, we want to be the next Issa Rae too, but we got to get a following to have that. So keep listening and keep sharing.
And
that's all I got.
And we came from humble beginnings, so you'll like our story.
Right.
So a few things. Once again, thank you to all our listeners, all our supporters, all our Facebook followers, all the people who listen to us on Inspire You on Air, the new beat of the Bay. Check us out every Monday, 10 p.m. Central. If you, for all our Inspire You listeners, if this is your first time catching us, once again, fellas, tell them where they can find us.
We are on Facebook at Three Brothers No Sense, Instagram at Three Brothers No Sense, Twitter at Brothers Sense. So follow us. Our Facebook followers are the best, by the way. Like, we have a lot of fun on there. We post some wild stuff. We post our episodes, so just check us out. You won't regret following us. We have a lot of fun.
Agreed. And last but not least, I want to say congratulations to my brother, Calvin Dion Carter, for entering a new field in his life. He just graduated today. Well, today is Friday, the 13th, from Delta's, I think, flight attendant school. So he has his wings. So my family went up there. My mom, my aunts, my uncles went up there to congratulate him and be with him. He's going to be traveling all over the world. And he put me on his companion pass.
There you go, buddy passes.
Nah, companion pass is better, bruh. Like I'm the people's.
Nice.
And secondly, happy 90th to 90 years in the frat. To the Mighty Melodic Bloody Up Upsilon Side chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, chartered May 13th, 1932 on the highest of Seven Hills in Tallahassee, Florida at FAMU. To all the bruds, I know you're being out this weekend. Have fun. I'll get up with some of you guys later this weekend to continue the celebration, but here's to another 90 years. I owe so much to this great fraternity, starting with that great chapter. So Rooted Upside, bruhs. By the time you listen to it, you guys will be going into your Kappa Delta will be going into their anniversary week.
Yeah, 50th year. So, yeah.
Got 50 years in this thing. So, once again, congratulations. Three Brothers No Sense. Keep listening to us. But you know the 6 rules of podcast: listen, like, share, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, listen again. Talk to you next week.